This is Jerry with Jerry's Retirement Wisdom. Today, I've been out looking for some fishing hacks and I found quite a few at the Dollar Tree. I also stopped by Walmart and there were a couple things there I'm going to share with you. If you stick around the end, I'll show you why I bought a couple of these solar stake lights. It might just help me when I'm loading the boat. Why don't you come along?
Fishing hack number 1.
I was in Walmart today. I was actually looking for some boat wash. You want to find something that's environmentally friendly to use to wash your boat. You don't necessarily want to use harsh chemicals and then back that boat into the lake or stream. So while I was looking for the boat wash, I ran across this. This is a stackable utility storage box. They were only $6.88. It reminds you of the old ammo box. This is clear plastic. Just pops open like this, and it's got a hinged lid. And then I got to thinking about all those worms that I like to store, and I thought this would be an ideal container to put these packages of worms in, and then I can stow them away in my boat. So thought I'd give these a try, and they're looking like they're going to work out very well. It's got a nice secure latch. This lid, by the way, is waterproof, so if you want to store something in there that you have to keep dry, this box would be ideal for that. So for $6.88, I got a pretty neat fishing storage hack from Walmart.
Fishing hack number 2.
It's hot here in Florida. It's the middle of May and we've already reached into the 90s, which is rare for this time of year, but still, it's not going to get any cooler. So I thought on my boat, I need some way to help cool off a little bit, especially when you're out there in the middle of the water and there's no shade and no breeze. So I found this while I was in Walmart, and it runs a little more than $16, which is a little steeper than I tend to pay for stuff, but it's a really neat item. This is called a flexible fan. And what it has 3 flexible legs. It's got 3 speeds. And it really puts out a nice little bit of breeze. It's rechargeable with a USB cord. I've got this cup holder here right by the dash of my boat. And I'm thinking I can take my little fan, and these rubber legs bend. So I think I'm going to bend them out a bit. Point that up there at the driver. I can plug that in right here on the dash of my boat, turn on that fan, and I've got some air blowing at the driver, and that'd be perfect to cool me down a bit on those super hot summer days here in Florida.
Fishing hack number 3.
When I'm out fishing throughout the day, I need a place to toss some things and a place also to store a few items. And I have these from my boat. I just didn't know where to put them all. So I ran across this at the Dollar Tree. It's a Sterilite storage box, and it's a real nice little box/basket. It's got these perforations in it. I happen to have the Versatrack system on my boat, or you can just use screws if you need to screw it onto your boat. Depends on how you might mount it. So I'm going to use one of these holes here on the side of my basket/container. I put in a 1/4 bolt. I've got a fender washer, and I've got these purpose-made knobs, and these knobs work really good for tightening down these 1/4 bolts. They've got it's called a through knob, because the bolt will actually go clear through the knob. So if you tighten it down really good, you have room to keep going. You don't have to stop at the head of the knob. So I got my 1/4 bolt inside. Add a big fender washer, and then I'm going to screw on my knob down in here. Now I get that screwed down close, I can take it over the boat now and mount it. Well, I've got my basket attached here on my boat, and I've tightened the knob down here inside. So that's going to be a perfect place to keep a few odds and ends as I fish. And it's right here handy, right by my fishing podium. So I'll have everything I need, and then a little room to toss a few odds and ends as I work throughout the day. And that's a pretty nice deal. And it's an easy fishing hack from the Dollar Tree. It's only $1.25.
Fishing hack number 4.
These are Shore Fresh mini storage containers. They're reusable. They come 14 to a pack, and they've got lids. These are nice. They got bright red lids. You can get other different colors. But if you wanted to store something like sinkers, you can store bobbers, hooks, all those kind of things. You get 14 in a pack, so that's a pretty good value. And these are mini storage containers from the Dollar Tree, $1.25. Easy fishing hack.
Fishing hack number 5.
I picked this up at Walmart. It's called a Fun Color Bait Well Net, and that's because the handles were all different colors. But it was only $4.25. I've got a small bait well on my boat, and really for $4.25, I've got a pretty substantial little bait net. It didn't cost that much, so it's a nice fishing hack from Walmart.
Fishing hack number 6.
I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's a broom head, but I've got another use for that. Like I told you before, I went to Walmart and picked up some boat wash, and I need a brush that's not going to scratch my finish, but it has to be substantial enough that it'll clean. And of all the things I found looking through the stores, this is the perfect brush for cleaning your boat. And it's actually a broom head, but look at the way those bristles work. They're soft, but they're a little stiff as well. So, for $1.25, I picked up a broom head. I'm going to turn it into my boat wash brush. $1.25, fishing hack from the Dollar Tree.
Fishing hack number 7.
I found this at the Dollar Tree for $1.25, and it's a metal bait pail. And you know when you take the grandkids out, before you know it, one wants to go one direction and one wants to go the other direction. Everybody wants their own bait. And you know, for $1.25, you can get a couple of these little metal pails, and you put a little bait in each one for each of the grandkids, and then they can take their bail and go off fishing. So you don't have an argument about who gets to keep the bait and who has to walk back to the bait container. You can split it up with these little metal pails, and they come in multicolors. So it's an easy fishing hack for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree.
Fishing hack number 8.
Last time I was out fishing, I had a little trouble cutting my braided line. It wanted to tear really more than cut with the dull nippers that I had, so I ran across these today at the Dollar Tree, and they're called slanted nail clippers. And these are heavy duty clippers, but they cut on a slant, which makes it kind of interesting, especially if you're trying to cut that tail end down in your reel when you're putting the line on a reel. You know, I thought I need some new clippers for braid, so I thought these might just be the ticket, and they do cut off pretty cleanly. So for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, you got slanted line clippers, and they work great for braid. Easy hack at the Dollar Tree.
Fishing hack number 9.
I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's acrylic board. It's kind of substantial here, so it's not going to give a lot. And what you can do with this is if you take a piece of emery cloth, I've got a piece of 400 grit here, and you lay that on that board and you wet it a little bit, and it helps it slide a bit. You can take a lure and you can hone that point right on that emery cloth, and that backer board helps give it something to work against. And that's really going to put a nice point on it. The other thing you can do, we use this for, is sharpening a knife. If you want to sharpen your knife, just use this acrylic backer board, a piece of emery cloth, and I promise you, you can put a really, really sharp edge on that knife in just a little bit. So for $1.25, you can pick up a piece of this acrylic board, add a piece of 400 or finer emery cloth, and you can really do a number on sharpening your knives and your hooks. And it was only $1.25 at the Dollar Tree.
Fishing hack number 10.
I ran across these at the dollar store. They're only $1.25, and it's a 10-piece set of glitter glue pens. And what's really nice about these is you've got multi-colors to pick from in a pack where you get 10 pieces. So if you want to take your glitter glue and you want to liven up a lure, you just run some of that glitter glue down the edge of your lure. Now I've added some real flash to that lure, and for $1.25 I've got 10 tubes of this in 5 different colors. Easy hack from the Dollar Tree.
Fishing and boating hack number 11.
Well, I told you at the end I'd tell you why I bought 2 of these solar stake lights. And what I did, I was in the Dollar Tree and I saw these. You can pull the bottom stake right off of these. Now I've got the solar part and the light part, and I was thinking I might have just the use for these when I'm loading my boat at night. Because usually right at the end of the day, it's a little bit hard sometimes to see where you're going. So let me show you. I've got these guides that I put on the trailer so it helps me guide my boat on when I'm docking. And the top cap on these is not glued on. I thought I'd get around to that, but now I've got another idea. I'm going to leave these loose. If I have to, I might put a screw in them. If I know I'm going to be out at night and I'm going to load the boat after dark, if I take one of these yard lights that are solar and they're charged up from being in the sun, and I just set it here on the top of my guide, watch what happens when I turn off the light. As you can see, my guide's now lit up. I've got these lights that I can put in the uprights here on these guides for my boat trailer, and I've seen these systems for far more expense than this. So for $1.25 I can light up the guideposts on my boat when I'm docking in the evening and bringing my boat in. That's a pretty easy fishing and boating hack from the Dollar Tree.
Jerry's retirement wisdom.
This has been Jerry with Jerry's Retirement Wisdom. I hope you like the videos that I put together for you today. I especially like the lighted guideposts on my boat trailer. If you like my videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you'd like to see some more of my videos, just click right there. We'll see you next time.